Hello Birdsong nerds, and welcome back to week 9, I'm pretty sure it's 9 this week, of Birdsong lessons with me, Lucy Lapwing, and thank you so much for following me on this very nerdy but I think fun journey so far. Today we're meeting a songster which for me is just one of the top songsters, and I say this about a lot of birds, but it's just brilliant, absolutely brilliant bird. They are a little bit of a Marmite bird. Some people think they're a little bit boisterous and they can be quite bossy and dominant on the feeders, but that's what I love about them. It's the starling, and starlings are just excellent. They're so good. They're iridescent first of all, so that's an absolute winner. They fly around in ridiculous flocks in winter. Murmurations, anyone? Yes, mwah. I don't know, have you ever seen them when they've got those speckles on their chest with their fresh plumage? That is like sleek. I absolutely love it. And yeah, they're just full of character, boisterous, cheeky, naughty. I think they're excellent, and they often live very closely alongside us, so it's a really good bird to have a listen to. Now, starlings are one of the most kind of complex songsters in the UK. They have absolutely wonderful vocalisations. I think, if I'm not wrong, they're distantly related to the myna bird, which is like a really good kind of mimic and does all sorts of fancy vocal stuff. And starlings are absolutely no exception. So we're going to dive in and have a listen and dissect all the fanciness going on in a starling song. So let's have a listen. Now I'm going to listen before I start describing it, so we'll just sit back and just pay attention to just how much variety is crammed into this little period. So here we go. There we go. I mean, there's a lot in there, isn't there? And that is exactly what a starling song is all about. So it's mostly the males that sing, but the females do a little bit as well. If you think back to that little bit we just listened to, there's so much variety in there. So all of the different noises and components that make up a starling song, they can be whistles, they can be warbles, clicks, rattles, scratches, trills. There's all sorts of little things in there, and that complexity is what makes it. That's how we identify a starling song. So the clicks are really quite distinct. You hear those bits that sound almost like it's trying to beatbox. So it's like, and I believe they clack their beaks together to help make that. You'll see the males as well. They sit in silhouette and they have these gorgeous spiky throat feathers that like wiggle as they sing. Absolutely stunning. And yeah, mixed in with that, there are these trills, there are these whistles and this kind of variety. And you'll notice it's quite high pitched as it goes on. So it has this effect of like a really high pitched, whistly, clicky chatter. It's just chattering away to itself. And that complexity isn't an accident. So female starlings have been shown to really prefer a male that has a more complex song. The ladies really go for a fella that's mixing it up. And one thing that you might notice with your starlings is some of their song sounds familiar. And this is the second key point to identifying a starling song, is that they are incredible impersonators. So starlings mimic the noises and the sounds around them. And so they borrow different noises that they hear both in nature and outside of nature. So if you've got a population of starlings that live in quite a rural area, they will nick bits of song from other birds. So I've heard starlings doing buzzards, I've heard starlings doing curlew, which is amazing, and starlings doing lapwings as well. So if you Google this, you can find examples of starlings doing all sorts of other birds' impressions. If they live in a more urban area, so perhaps you've got starlings down your street, they can borrow and steal sounds from the human environment, which is amazing. So, you know, car alarms, phone ringtones, revs of engines and that kind of thing. And they only have to hear a noise once and decide they like it, and they'll nick it and borrow it for their song for life. So there's a story that I like to tell that really emphasises just how amazing this kind of phenomenon of mimicry is in starlings. And this was told by BBC Springwatch a couple of years ago. So a sound recordist called Chris Watson visited the Isle of Coll. And whilst he was there, he found this kind of like abandoned old bothy that had a population of starlings just like chilling around and living in it. When he was listening to the song, he noticed something just a little bit different about them. And, you know, even though we know their songs can vary a lot, there was a distinct sound in there that he didn't quite recognise. And when he did a little bit of nosying around the bothy, under some undergrowth and old brambles, he found this kind of ruined, rusty old engine, a two-stroke engine. And that engine obviously hadn't run for decades. It was like literally overgrown. But when he thought about it, those songs that the starlings were singing were really reminiscent of that kind of mechanical chugging over sound that an engine would have had. They had elements of the song that sounded a little bit like and they went round and round. And it's amazing to think that starlings generations ago that have long been dead heard that engine operating, liked the sound of it, incorporated it into their song, and then because starlings also listen to each other and learn from each other, those sounds have been absorbed and passed down generation to generation. So these starlings are singing the song of an engine that they've never heard, and I just find that absolutely amazing. It's crazy. It's really, really interesting. So hopefully this lesson has been helpful in picking out that kind of song of the starling. There's no particular way of remembering it. It's just to pay attention to that variety and just sit back and enjoy it. Like I said, they're really cheeky little birds. So whether you love them or loathe them and they eat you out of house and home on your feeders and guzzle every last bit and won't let the blue tits get a look in, I think they're just such cheeky, intelligent, just wonderfully characterful little birds. I think they really deserve our respect, and just sitting back on a sunny day, watching one of your chimney pot on your roof, singing away, clattering that beat, whistling and trilling is just present. So hopefully that's helpful. If you've got any questions about the starling song, please let me know, and if you've got a way of remembering it, please also let me know. It's always good to learn from each other. And yeah, any questions about upcoming birds or things that you'd like to see, please also always get in touch. Thanks again so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.